First off, you must know this. I was wrongly accused of adultery. Not surprising when you consider men run this town, this country, well, the world. It happened yesterday amid the bustling crowds of Passover. Those men had their eyes on me a while. They made their accusation. They found me guilty, of course, and hauled me off to the temple to stone me to death. That is the penalty prescribed by the law. These men set to make an example of me to other women. They said, "See what happens when you break the law?" They said happily, holding stones in their hand, ready to throw. "See what happens when you break the law." Well, what they didn't count on was Jesus. They weren't the first to underestimate him, and they would probably not be the last. So, Jesus is sitting near the temple wall teaching a group of men. These so-called religious men haul me off to the temple and say in a voice loud enough for everyone to hear, "We caught this one in the very act of adultery." Well, this is a lie, but it's my word against theirs, so who are you going to believe? Jesus listens, barely raising his head. He was kneeling, scribbling something in the sand, and thinking deeply. Well, the bloodthirsty men begin nodding their heads, but Jesus shakes his head side to side as if he were saying, "You poor, poor people, you've got it all wrong." And then Jesus looks up. He says in a voice so quietly that everyone is forced to listen very closely, "Let anyone who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Ha! The words scared them, I guess, like a stroke of lightning burning at their feet. And then, oh my goodness, these righteous men, they crawled away like a bunch of cowering street dogs. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir." "Well, then neither do I condemn you. Now go on your way and do not sin again." A merciful judge, one who loved me, even though I was powerless. I was considered the least of the least, and yet Jesus set me free.
Alms for the poor. That's how I say it. Alms for the poor. Every day I sit against the wall and hold out my hand. In earlier days I would stand near the places of worship, but no one helped me there. It is better to sit at the corner in the poorest section of town. They understand generosity. The rich and religious folks just shouted insults, or even worse, ignored me altogether. But then this morning, Jesus shows up on my street. I hear a commotion a block away. Who is it, I wonder? My friend Asa is sitting near, and he says, "It's Jesus." I had not heard the name. Asa says Jesus is from Galilee, and that some think him a magic man, while others believe he may actually be the Messiah himself. He must be here for the Passover, I say. Don't you think? Asa nods. I wonder where he's headed, I ask, and Asa says, oh, he's going to the temple, I bet. Then my friend Asa winks and adds, maybe he will be meeting with the powers that be. We chuckle together. No one gets anywhere with meeting with the powers that be. But lo and behold, Jesus comes towards us. He turns and walks all the way down to where we are sitting. So, rather timidly, I say, alms for the poor? And Jesus reaches into his pocket and gives me a coin. He simply hands it to me. Usually people toss the coin and laugh when I fumble it and have to feel for it on the ground. I don't see all that well. But Jesus doesn't just hand it to me and leave. He actually speaks to me. He looks in my eyes and says, what is it, my brother? What is it that you need? I don't know, I answer. That's the truth. Jesus nods and then leans down to me and places his hands on my head. He speaks very kindly. You are blessed, my brother. New life has come to you. He was right. New life has come to me. I can see him clearly as he walks away. Asa and I stand up and follow.
I had been sick a long time. So long, in fact, I couldn't remember when I wasn't sick. Being ill is like living in another country. You are treated like a stranger, a foreigner, by even those who know you well. Doctor after doctor could do nothing for me. My life could just as well have been over. This very morning, I just had about reached the end of my rope. And then Jesus comes. Oh, he didn't come for me especially. At least I don't think so. But Jesus and all who followed him were passing by like a parade, and I felt too bad to say anything. But then one of Jesus' leaders came running up to him, and then amazingly enough, he knelt before Jesus and says that his daughter has just died. Well, that's that, I thought. Dead folks don't come back to life. What could Jesus possibly do? But then the man says, if you come and lay your hand on her, she will live. What is one to think of that? It made me go cold inside for a moment. But I kept following him. And as I walked, I began to think, if Jesus actually can raise the dead, then he surely can help me. So I moved as fast as I could, and then without knowing a thing, I touched the edge of his robe. That should be enough, I thought, for such a powerful man. At that moment, Jesus turned around as if he could feel the touch of my hand, and he found me in the crowd. Take heart, daughter, he said. Your faith has made you well. And instantly I was cured this very day, just hours ago. I don't know if it was my faith or not that did it, but I do know that it is Jesus who spoke, and I am healed.